We all talk about love like it's some kind of fireworks. Boom, sparks, magic. But let me tell you something, real love isn't about fireworks. Real love is about showing up day in and day out when it's easy and especially when it's hard. See, anyone can love you when things are good. Anyone can say, I love you when everything is perfect. But consistency is the real test. Consistency is the proof. If someone truly loves you, you don't have to guess. You don't have to wonder if they're really there. They show up. They show up when you're sick, when you're broke, when you're messy, when you're moody, when you're confused. They show up and they don't keep score. That is proof. I've seen people get caught up in the grand gestures, the flowers, the fancy dinners, the big words. But let me tell you something. You can spend all the money in the world on gifts, and if you're not there consistently, it doesn't mean a thing. Real love is in the day to day. It's in the good morning texts. It's in remembering the little things. It's in holding their hand when they're afraid. It's being there when no one else is. Consistency is a choice. Every single day, you choose your person. Every single day, you choose your family, your partner, your children. And that choice, day after day, is louder than any words. So if you're wondering if someone really loves you, don't ask them to shout it from the rooftops. Watch their actions. Watch if they are consistent. Watch if they are reliable. Watch if they are patient. Because love without consistency is just excitement. Love without consistency is just a feeling. But love with consistency, that's commitment. That's loyalty. That's forever. And that, my friends, is real love. You see, everybody talks about love, but so many people get it twisted. They think love is just about saying the words, I love you, over and over, like it's some magic spell that proves something. Let me tell you something straight. Anyone can say those words. Anyone. It doesn't take skill. It doesn't take sacrifice. And it doesn't take real commitment. Words are cheap. Words don't mean much if they're not backed up by what you do. Real love is action. Real love is when what you do matches what you say. That's where the proof is. That's where people stop guessing and start knowing. Now, I know a lot of people think showing love is all about the big, flashy stuff, the fancy gifts, the vacations, the surprises that cost a lot of money. And don't get me wrong, those things can be nice. But let me tell you, they don't make love real. They're just icing on the cake. The real cake is in the small, consistent actions you take every single day. It's in the way you remember the little things. It's in the way you listen when someone's talking about a problem they can't solve on their own. It's in the way you show up when no one else is watching. That's where the proof lives. That's where love becomes undeniable. Think about it like this. If someone really loves you, you don't have to question it. You don't have to read between the lines or wait for some dramatic gesture to feel secure. You know, because their actions say it loud and clear, even without words. They'll call when they said they would. They'll help you when you're struggling, even if it's inconvenient. They'll show up when you're at your lowest, not just when you're at your best. That's what real love looks like. That's how you can tell someone's heart is in it for the long haul. People get caught up in feelings, thinking feelings are enough. But feelings come and go. They're like the weather, sunny one minute, stormy the next. You can't base your life on feelings alone. Actions are steady. Actions don't lie. Actions are reliable. That's why I keep saying, watch what people do, not what they say. It's the actions that will prove the love over and over again. And when someone is consistent in their actions, that's when you stop worrying about whether they truly care. You stop asking yourself if you're enough. You see it. You feel it. And it's undeniable. Real love isn't always glamorous. It isn't always poetic. Sometimes it's just getting up early to make coffee for your partner, even when you don't feel like it. Sometimes it's just holding their hand when they're scared, even if you're scared too. Sometimes it's making the sacrifice so they don't have to, even if nobody notices. Those small actions, repeated over and over, become louder than any words could ever be. They speak in a language everyone understands, the language of commitment, the language of care, the language of true love. So don't get caught up in words alone. Don't let someone's lip service fool you. Look at their actions. Look at their consistency. That's where the real proof is. Because love that isn't shown through action isn't love at all. It's just an idea, a hope, a wish. But love that's shown through action, that's real. That's powerful. And that's the kind of love that lasts. You know, people always talk about love like it's something that only happens when everything's perfect. They think love is about feeling good, having fun, and sharing all the moments that are easy. But let me tell you something, love is not just about the easy stuff. Real love shows up, especially when it's hard. Real love doesn't take a day off when things get messy or uncomfortable. If someone truly loves you, you don't have to question their presence. You don't have to wonder if they'll be there when life gets ugly, because showing up day after day is the real proof. Now, I know it sounds simple, but think about it for a moment. How many times have you had someone in your life who said all the right words, made all the promises, but when you needed them, they disappeared? When the bills piled up, when sickness came, when family drama hit, or when your dreams started taking longer than expected, they weren't there. That's not love. That's convenience. Real love doesn't wait for the right moment. It doesn't bail when things aren't glamorous. It doesn't only appear when you're smiling or at your best. Real love shows up even when it's inconvenient, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it costs them something. That's the difference. Showing up is not always big gestures. Sometimes it's as simple as picking up the phone to ask, "Are you okay?" Sometimes it's sitting silently with someone who's grieving, just holding space for them without saying a word. Sometimes it's sacrificing your own time to be there for someone else. Showing up doesn't need to be flashy. It doesn't need to be expensive. It's about presence. It's about making the choice over and over to be reliable. People forget that, but let me tell you, presence is power. Being there when it counts is what builds trust. Being there consistently is what builds love. I've seen couples who fight constantly, who argue and disagree, yet they're still there for each other. Why? Because showing up is bigger than feelings. It's bigger than emotions. It's about commitment. Love is a commitment to being there, regardless of circumstances, regardless of mood, regardless of how convenient it is. And when someone shows up consistently, you start to notice patterns. You start to see who is actually invested in you, who values you enough to be present, who doesn't make excuses, and who doesn't disappear when things get tough. That is the ultimate proof of love. People underestimate the power of showing up. They think love needs to be loud, dramatic, or visible to the world. But the quiet acts, the steady presence, the simple consistency, those are what matter. Real love is in the actions you can't fake, in the moments that aren't seen by others, in the times when no one is applauding or taking pictures. Showing up when it's hard, showing up when no one else would. That's when love speaks the loudest. So if you want to know if someone truly loves you, don't watch what they say. Watch if they show up. Watch if they're there when life tests them. Watch if they're steady and reliable. Watch if they are present when it counts. Because that is when love stops being a word and starts being real. Showing up matters, and it is the foundation of every lasting relationship. People always get caught up thinking that love is about the big, dramatic moments, the surprise vacations, the flashy gifts, the grand gestures that look good on social media. And don't get me wrong, those things can be nice, but let me tell you something, real love isn't built on the big moments. Real love is built on the small gestures that happen every single day, even when nobody is watching, even when it feels ordinary, even when it goes unnoticed. Those are the moments that really matter because they show that someone cares consistently, not just when it's convenient or when they want to impress you. Think about it. How many times have you been in a relationship or even just had people around you where they would say the words, "I love you," but their actions didn't back it up? That's why small gestures are so important. It's the little things that tell you someone is truly invested in you. It's making your coffee just the way you like it, remembering your favorite song, sending a text just to check on you, or holding your hand when you don't even ask. It's not the grand declarations or the expensive gifts. It's the consistent thoughtfulness that proves someone is paying attention and cares. I've been around people who think that love is measured by how much they spend or how big they show off. But the truth is, love isn't a transaction. You can't buy it. You can't prove it with money. You prove it with effort, with attention, with those small gestures that say, "I see you. I hear you. I'm here for you." Those little acts are louder than any speech or any gift because they happen in the ordinary, everyday moments. And the ordinary is where life actually happens. That's where love is tested and where it grows strongest. The problem is we often overlook these small gestures because they don't look exciting. We want fireworks. We want drama. We want proof that is loud and visible. But real love doesn't need a stage. Real love works in the background. It's in the quiet, steady presence. It's in the things that make life a little easier, a little brighter, and a little more comfortable for the person you care about. When someone takes the time to remember what matters to you, when they do the little things without complaint, that's a sign of true love. That's proof that they're committed to showing up for you every single day. And here's the thing, the small gestures also build trust. They create a pattern of reliability and care. When someone consistently does the little things, it becomes undeniable that they are invested. You start to relax. You start to feel secure. You don't have to worry or second guess because the evidence is right there in the everyday actions. That is more powerful than any words could ever be. Words can be empty, but consistent gestures, they are real, tangible, and lasting. So never underestimate the power of the small things. A simple compliment, a helping hand, a note of encouragement, a moment of patience, those are what make love real. Those are the things that make people feel seen, valued, and cared for. Love is not about grand, flashy moments. It's about showing up in the small, ordinary moments over and over again. Because it's in those small gestures that love truly speaks, love truly proves itself, and love lasts. You know, people love to talk about love like it's some kind of feeling that just happens to you, like it's automatic or effortless. But let me tell you something, straight love isn't just a feeling. Love is a choice. Every single day you choose it. Every single day you decide whether you're going to show up, whether you're going to care, whether you're going to stay committed, even when it's hard. And that's where consistency comes in. Consistency isn't something that just magically appears. It's a conscious decision you make over and over again. That's why I say, if you want proof of love, look at consistency. Because choosing to be consistent is the ultimate way to show someone that you care, that you're committed, that you are in it for the long haul. See, anyone can show love when it's convenient. Anyone can be kind, attentive, and affectionate when life is easy, when it's comfortable, when nothing is going wrong. But real love is shown when you make the choice to keep going even when it's not convenient, even when it's messy, even when you're tired, frustrated, or stressed. Real love is choosing to show up for the person you care about, even when you don't feel like it. That's consistency. That's proof. That's commitment. And it's not easy. It takes effort. It takes sacrifice. But that's what separates true love from temporary feelings. I've watched people get caught up in emotions and forget that love is an action. They think that because they feel something today, that's enough. But feelings change. Feelings are like the weather. Sometimes sunny, sometimes stormy, sometimes foggy, sometimes clear. But actions, consistency, those are reliable. That's why making the choice to consistently care, to consistently show up, is so powerful. When someone is consistent, it removes doubt. It removes uncertainty. You don't have to guess if they love you, because their choice to be present, their choice to commit, their choice to keep showing up day after day proves it without words. Think about it like building a house. You don't just throw up the walls and call it a home. You lay a foundation brick by brick, day by day. Consistency is that foundation. Every little action, every little effort, every small gesture, those are the bricks that make love real, strong, and lasting. And here's the thing, consistency is a choice you make even when no one notices, even when it goes unappreciated, even when it feels thankless. That's what separates those who truly love from those who just talk about it. True love isn't about applause or recognition. It's about showing up every day, whether anyone sees it or not. When you choose to be consistent, you create trust. You create security. You create proof that what you feel isn't fleeting. And let me tell you, that choice doesn't just impact your relationships. It impacts you. It teaches you patience. It teaches you commitment. It teaches you responsibility. You start to understand that love isn't something you passively wait for. It's something you actively give, something you actively maintain. And that, my friends, is how love lasts. That's how relationships survive storms, survive trials, survive the messiness of life. Because someone chose day after day to be consistent. So don't get caught up thinking love is just about feeling good or saying the words. Real love is about choosing to be consistent, choosing to show up, choosing to care, choosing to be present. And that choice over time speaks louder than anything else. It's proof, it's commitment, it's loyalty, and it's the reason why real love endures. You know, people talk about love like it's a feeling that comes and goes, like it's a spark that might light up one day and fizzle the next. But let me tell you something that a lot of folks miss love. Without reliability is nothing. You can have all the passion in the world, all the chemistry, all the fireworks, and if you're not reliable, it doesn't mean a thing. Reliability is the backbone of love. It's the proof that someone truly cares, that someone is committed, and that someone is there for the long haul. Because love isn't just about how you feel in the moment. It's about what you do consistently, especially when it's hard. Think about it for a second. How many times have you seen someone promise the world, say all the right words, look like they mean it, but when life throws a curveball, they vanish? That's why reliability is so important. Being reliable means showing up when it counts. It means doing what you say you're going to do. It means being steady, consistent, and trustworthy. And let me tell you, that's hard to find. People want to be loved, but they forget that love also means being dependable. You can't pick and choose when you're going to care. You can't love only when it's convenient. Real love is dependable. Real love is someone you can count on day after day through the highs and lows of life. Reliability builds trust. It makes people feel safe. You ever been around someone who's unpredictable, someone who makes you guess whether they're going to be there or not? It wears you down. It makes you question yourself. It makes you question your worth, and it makes you doubt love itself. But someone who is reliable, you don't have to question it. You don't have to wonder if they care. Their actions, repeated over time, show you that they do. That's what real love looks like. Consistent, dependable, and trustworthy. I've watched relationships crumble because people fail to understand the power of reliability. It's not always the big fights or the big mistakes. It's the little things. The missed calls, the forgotten promises, the time someone said they'd be there and weren't. Those moments add up. That's why reliability matters. It's the little things that make a big difference. It's the steady presence, the follow-through, the commitment to being consistent that creates a foundation strong enough to handle life's storms. And here's another thing: reliability isn't just about showing up physically. It's about emotional presence too. It's about being someone your partner can lean on, someone they can confide in, someone they can trust with their vulnerabilities. Real love is dependable emotionally, mentally, and physically. It's being there not just when it's convenient or easy, but when it's messy, complicated, and hard. That's the kind of love that endures, the kind that doesn't fade when life gets challenging. So if you want to know if someone truly loves you, pay attention to reliability. Watch how they follow through. Watch if they are consistent. Watch if you can count on them when you need them most, because actions matter more than words. Being reliable is proof that love is real. It's proof that it's lasting. It's proof that someone has chosen every single day to be there for you, no matter what. Reliability is key. And without it, everything else in love is just a temporary feeling. But with it, love becomes a rock, solid foundation that stands the test of time. You know, everybody wants love to be easy. Everybody wants it to be exciting, thrilling, and full of fireworks. But let me tell you something that most people don't want to hear. Real love is not always exciting. Real love is not always perfect. Real love is in the long haul. It's in the moments nobody sees, in the days when life is messy, and in the years when feelings fade in and out, but commitment stays. Love that lasts is tested by time, tested by challenges, tested by ordinary life. And it's the people who stay, who endure, who are patient, who show up every single day, that prove that love is real. Think about it. A lot of people fall in love in the honeymoon phase. They fall in love when everything is fun, when everything is easy, when everything makes them feel good. But let me ask you something. What happens when the bills come due? When sickness hits? When arguments flare? When life gets complicated? That's when real love shows up. That's when the people who truly love you stay. That's when the ones who are just passing through disappear. You see, love isn't measured in the first moments or in the sparks of excitement. Love is measured in the long haul. It's measured in the endurance of time, the ability to overcome challenges, and the willingness to fight for each other even when it's hard. People think love is easy, but love takes work. And the work isn't always glamorous. The work isn't always visible. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's boring. Sometimes it's routine. But that's the beauty of it. The day in and day out work, the effort to communicate, to compromise, to forgive, to listen, to support, to sacrifice. Those are the things that make love real. Those are the things that make love last. And let me tell you something else. That's the kind of love that builds trust, that builds security, that builds a bond that cannot be broken. Because when someone stays with you through the long haul, you know it's not just about feelings. You know it's about choice. You know it's about commitment. I've seen people come and go, relationships fizzle, and hearts break because people were looking for love that was fast, easy, and exciting. They didn't understand that love that lasts isn't measured in moments. It's measured in years. It's measured in the mundane, in the everyday, in the willingness to stay when the initial thrill fades. That's when love is proven. That's when love becomes unshakable. That's when you can say, this is real. This is forever. And here's the truth. Love in the long haul is not just about enduring tough times. It's about growing together. It's about building a life together. It's about supporting dreams, celebrating successes, forgiving mistakes, and being present even when life gets ordinary. It's about knowing that the person beside you is committed not only to the good days, but to the days that are dull, hard, or painful. That's what real love looks like. That's what it feels like. That's what makes it lasting. So if you want to know if someone truly loves you, don't just watch how they act in the easy moments. Watch how they act over time. Watch if they stay when life isn't perfect. Watch if they keep showing up when excitement fades. Watch if they continue to support, care, and commit long after the initial feelings have settled. Because love in the long haul isn't about temporary emotions. It's about enduring choice, steadfast commitment, and the willingness to grow together through life's ups and downs. That is real love, and that is the kind that lasts a lifetime.